nós estejam mega bem. E hoje estamos mais um vídeo de Guenshin Impact. Então, no último episódio foi muito maluco. Derrotámos um boss com 3 fases de fatura, mais um deus cobra minhoca gigante do mar. Foi muito maluco e bem difícil, mas já conseguimos. E temos que procurar o Zhongli para fazermos o ritual da ascensão, que é o que devíamos ter feito desde o começo, só com um milhão de problemas, como acontece sempre.
Is there anything I can do for you two? I'm afraid that Wangsheng Funeral Parlor isn't—
We've come to see Zhongli. Could you please tell him we're here?
Unfortunately, Zhongli isn't here at the moment. It seems he went to Northland Bank.
Doesn't the Northland Bank belong to the Fatui? Last time we saw Zhongli was before we went to the Golden House. Do you think he doesn't know about the attack on Liyue? Visiting the Fatui at a time like this could only mean more trouble. We had better go and make sure that
Ok, vamos ver se está tudo bem. Zhongli, onde é que está Zhongli? Elemento. Olha, chegamos.
You call this cooperation between Harbingers? Cooperation involves communication, you know.
Don't take it to heart, child. Besides, aren't you happy that you got to skip the formalities and bring chaos to the land? I'm sure you must have enjoyed that.
Não, senhora, roubou a gnoses do vento e ele é mau.
Oh, it seems that some of your friends have arrived.
Hey, it's Zhongli and Child. And you're also one of the Harbingers?
It's you two. I believe we've met once before. In the city of Bards, was it? I'm glad you still remember my name. Ah, right. I imagine that it must have been rather hard to forget watching helplessly as something precious was snatched away from your friend.
Well, if it isn't you two. This is our first time seeing each other since Liyue was nearly wiped off the map. This is certainly a bit awkward, wouldn't you say?
Paimon knew that we should never have trusted a Fatui Harbinger.
Oh, now don't say that. Sure, I may have misled you, but I never had anything against you personally. Besides, I thought we were getting along quite well together, didn't you? Except for that little tussle we had at the end. Nothing personal. We just have different views, that's all. Of course, you may very well hold this against me, but that's up to you. The real deceivers here are Senora and Zhongli. Curse them for leading me on. So actually, I think...
Stop wasting time, child. There'll be plenty of time to chat once I'm through here. You remember the agreement, Morax. Now, if you would be so kind. The Gnosis, please.
What in the world are you talking about?
The contract is fulfilled. That which thou seeketh is now bestowed unto thee.
Uma estatuazinha. O que é Gnosis? Ele era deus.
How sanctimonious.
What? So you're the Lord of Geo? No, wait! That's an exciting twist and all, but why give the Gnosis to the Fatui?
I do not give it for free. I give it as agreed upon in the contract. For it is a matter solely between the Tsaritsa and I.
Yeah, you don't think you went a little bit too far with that whole fake death thing? Everyone was preparing the ceremony for you and splat! This about a disaster.
Gathering all the forces that had been bubbling behind the scenes, and then stirring them together in a pot that was bound to boil over. That's what he wanted to see, am I right?
Wait, what?
Perhaps it's best that I explain.
Sim, explica.
As you know, I've dwelt upon this world for more than 6,000 years. I witnessed the founding of Liyue, together with the Adepti 3,700 years ago. Even boulders that can withstand whirlpools will erode with the passing of time. I kept convincing myself that cracks had not begun to form, and that the end of my time had not yet come. Until one drizzly day, as I was strolling along the harbor, I heard a merchant tell one of his workers, "You've finished your duties. Go ahead and call it a day." I stood motionless among the crowds, asking myself, have I already finished my duties?
Oh, Zhongli.
But as I began to consider relinquishing my divine role, I soon discovered that many reasons still remained to not hastily depart. Was Liyue, the city I had dwelt in for so long, already prepared to enter its next age? I decided that a test was needed in order to reveal the answer. So I feigned my own death, and gathered the cast of Child, the Adepti, and the Liyue Qixing to play their roles together on the stage that was Liyue.
Então, aquele Deus foi invocado de propósito, ele sabia. Oh,
That's
não.
right. Which is why I continued to safeguard the Gnosis until now.
So you mean that if the chaos ever reached the point of no return, you would simply appear and use your divine powers to bring Liyue back under control?
Of course, and it would have been all too easy for him too. Just as a child quickly matures after losing their parents, so has Liyue matured when faced with the death of its deity.
I was pleasantly surprised with the finale of the show that you all put on. Why, you even deserved an encore. The Adepti deserve the greatest applause, considering their years of seclusion. They hardly recognized the city, yet faced with such a crisis, they exerted the greatest amount of restraint. Not only... And hats off to the emissary dispatched by the Cryo-Archon to fulfill our contract, Signora. She managed to keep everything she knew in strict confidence, far from the eavesdropping ears of her colleague Child, just as I had requested. All the while, I carried on as Zhongli, and fulfilled the traditions of Liyue in this mortal form. Thank you for walking that path with me, Traveler. These things were all a part of my script. The only unforeseen plot twist was the conduct of the Liyue Qixing. I had expected them to do no more than the Adepti, to come to the defense of Liyue. But when all was said and done, they seized the opportunity to supplant Liyue's divine protectors, and used the subsequent power vacuum left by my death to quickly gain complete control of Liyue.
Huh? That doesn't sound good at all.
On the contrary, I think it is excellent. I had always feared that it was too soon for them to take over from me. And it was also that which I longed for the most. As such, this is the best parting gift anyone could have given this god of old.
Mas ele vai
Hey,
continuar a
what
ser
about
um
me?
Deus.
Doesn't anyone feel the least bit of remorse for deceiving me? You've practically kept me in the dark.
I think that thanks would be more appropriate. You certainly played no small part in all of this, wreaking havoc and turning the city upside down. The Lord of Geo ought to thank you for your performance, if anything. If you hadn't created the pressure of a battle between mortals, Adepti, and a god, the lump of coal resting in the hands of the Geo-Archon, Liyue, would never have been able to become a dazzling diamond of a city.
Huh? Just whose side are you on, mocking me like that? Are you itching for a fight? Be that as it may, You've come out of this as the hero of Liyue. I, on the other hand, will be forever prescribed as a disturber of the peace, no?
Well then, with the Gnosis in my possession, I have no use for such idle chatter. We should return to Zapolyarny Palace and seek an audience with Her Majesty, the Tsaritsa. Come, child.
Fine. I'll meet you there later. I'm not sharing a boat with the likes of you.
Do as you wish.
Do as you wish. Fim.
Now then, is there anything else you wish to ask me?
Right! As Zhongli always told us, a good trade is a fair trade. Paimon has no idea what could be a good trade for a Gnosis.
No.
Realistically speaking, there is no such thing.
Huh?
However, I am the god of contracts. For thousands of years, I have made countless contracts. If the deal was of no benefit, then I certainly would not be inclined to agree to it. My agreement with the Cryo Archon will be the last of my contracts as the Geo Archon. My contract to end all contracts. As for the bargaining chip that the Tsaritsa used to balance the scales, uncover that answer for yourself in your future journeys.
Paimon can't absorb so much information at once.
Eu também não, pai.
So, Zhongli, what sort of contract did you sign with the Cryo Archon? Paimon's so curious.
One of the clauses of our contract was not to divulge any of its contents.
Uau.
Ugh, you're so petty.
Mas vamos fazer um ritual sequer.
Well, since we're going through with this rite of parting, I guess it means that those rumors hit the nail on the head.
So Rex Lapis is really... But they didn't catch the culprit, did they?
O agachado em inglês.
Oh, come on. Do you think that the assassin could have been a normal person? You know what I think? I don't think any of the gossip on the street. There's only one real possibility in my mind. I've heard that the assassin was that Fatui fellow. Youngish, pretty high in rank. I think they called him...
Fatui? They certainly are...
Shh! Lower your voice. If the Fatui catch you in their sights, Rex Lapis won't be around to protect you.
You know that god from the ocean couldn't have just shown up out of nowhere. I mean, it's been 2,000 years since Rex Lapis subdued it.
Yes, and to think that this happened right on the heels of the incident with Rex Lapis, too.
Say, do you think the person who assassinated our lord and released that evil god might have been one and the same?
Now that you mention it, that's very possible. Yes, it's very possible indeed. I mean, it all fits together. That person must have colluded with the evil god to harm Rex Lapis. Oh, that wicked, black-hearted scoundrel. Still, what sort of supernatural prowess must this person possess to be able to do such things? I have never heard of such a person in all my years.
Ah, forget it. Guessing's no use to us. Look, the Millilith over there looks like he's about to make an announcement.
Ok. Vou ouvir o anúncio. Eu quero ouvir.
Hear ye all! The Chi sings words. Though a dragon soars ageless as the mountains, it too must return to dust. This is common knowledge. Gods and Adepti live glorious lives, but both light and shadow have their season. So too must they face divinely appointed trials. Rumors and hearsay abound on the streets that Rex Lapis was murdered. Now, let the truth be revealed. Having been thwarted in his trial, Rex Lapis's soul has recouped the celestial heights. He beseeches the people of Liyue to grieve not, and to let not their hearts be saddened. Nor are they to believe street-born rumors, or indulge in baseless speculation.
Paimon needs a translation on what the Qixing's announcement said. So that's how they're spinning it. Something feels off. Why would they suddenly give up looking for the murderer? Not to mention how this excuse sounds like something they just made up on the spot. Could the Qixing already have known that Rex Lapis wasn't dead? But Zhongli said that neither they nor the Adepti knew anything. Did Zhongli tell them in secret after his gnosis changed hands?
Pode ser.
Exactly, right? Ooh, seems like the rite of
Deixa eu ver.
Look, it's Ningguang and Kuching. Are they saying something? Are their speeches over?
As said previously, Rex Lapis's soul returning to the heavens is the end of the contract. And it is also the end of an era.
3,700 years of contracts burnt and reduced to ash.
We, the people of Liyue, were indeed prosperous. But blinded by our prosperity, we forgot that time can be pitiless.
The long, unending dream of our Archon walking among us.
Now that we have awoken from our dream, we must learn to say farewell. Will you stand with us as we re-establish our contracts? As we build a new age of prosperity?
So concludes the words of Her Eminence the Tianquan. Does Her Eminence the Yuheng have anything to add?
Huh? Is she looking this way?
Traveler.
Yikes! She really is looking our way!
Is that the traveler who they say defeated the ancient god?
So young. The Liyue Qixing always repay their debts. And as you have heard, our eyes see far and our reach is long.
Não fui eu
Name
que
your
mais-
price. You deserve that much.
Foi mais coisa voadora.
Well, could you help me put up some missing person posters?
Well, could you help me put up some missing person posters?
Eu falei. Eu falei. Enchi a boca, parece que ficou mais feliz de repente.
And to think I'd put my best perfume on before coming here, thinking you'd like it. But it seems as if those perfumes really were meant to be offered to Rex Lapis. Well, that's fine. Suffer no rivals in love, they say. And that's 3 gone in 1 stroke.
As for the mortals and Adepti of Liyue, what shape shall our relationship take from now on?
Não sei.
Rex Lapis. Oh, Rex Lapis. Now that I think about it, perhaps mementos for Rex Lapis might be the best short-term business opportunity.
Mas eu preciso disto. Mas eu continuo a ser um deus, como o vento, e eu continuo a ser um deus, acho eu. sinal-se do Deus Gyosoka. Em vez de ser uma pessoa normal.
Hey, Zhongli! Look at this. Everyone in Liyue is caught up in their emotions, thinking that they'll never see Rex Lapis again. And here you are looking all relaxed.
Why would I not feel more at ease after laying down the burden I have borne for 3,700 years? Right. If the two of you can spare the time, I should treat you to a meal at the Shinya kiosk.
Ha! That sounds like big talk, Zhongli. Paimon might have believed you if you were treating us to some third-round knockout, but you'd have to pay out your nose just to stand inside Shinya kiosk. Are you sure you can afford it?
You're right. I do like the Mora. As the Rex Lapis Morax, I can easily create Mora. But since I have chosen to walk this earth as the mortal Zhongli, I should abide by the same rules that mortals do. When I was journeying with you, though I still had the Gnosis in hand, I knew that I must soon retire from my role as an Archon. So I had to rehearse a little for my new life.
Oh, no wonder! Paimon gets it now. You didn't look at the price tags when we were spending because you've never had to. But since you weren't used to not being able to just make more Mora as and when you wanted to, you had to try becoming a parasite to society who lives off of other people's credit.
Well, we were only spending Fatui money. You don't have to say it like that. In the City of Commerce, we do not merely exchange money or goods. We also exchange knowledge, memories, and foresight, as well as positions, roles, and lives. The Archon Morax could never experience life as the true mortal Zhongli could, no matter how many times he descended to be with his people. I must thank you for that. I will treasure the memories that I made as Zhongli, traveling the streets of Liyue with you. That is true. But there is no journey that does not end. No meetings without partings.
Paimon thinks that we should make a move and continue our search for the Seven.
I fear that continuing your journey may be difficult. The nation that neighbors Liyue by sea, Inazuma, is presently closed. The Electro-Archon Ball. And just as the people of Liyue preferred to call me Rex Lapis, she too goes by another name among locals in Inazuma.
Paimon thinks we've heard that one before. Raiden?
That is the case. And since Raiden is also the Shogun of the Inazuma Bakufu, people call her the Raiden Shogun.
That said, though people at the wharf were saying that the situation in Inazuma is very tense, Paimon doesn't remember that always being the case. It wasn't that bad last year. Zhongli, since you're Rex Lapis, shouldn't you know something about what's happening there? Just how did Inazuma become a closed nation?
It's because of visions.
Visions?
When faced with circumstances beyond their control, humans often bemoan their lack of power. But if a person shows true strength of will at a desperate and fateful moment in their life, the gods will look upon them with favor. This is what visions are. Magical foci bestowed upon those who have been acknowledged by the gods.
Uh-huh. That's how people in Teyvat see it.
But starting from last year, the Raiden Shogun began promulgating the Vision Hunt Decree.
Vision Hunt Decree?
Yes. It was an order to seize all visions within Inazuma's borders, and to inlay them upon the hands of a statue of the 1,000-armed, 100-eyed god.
They want to seize visions. But why? Aren't visions blessings from the gods?
I should think that in the Raiden Shogun's eyes, it is precisely because they are divine blessings that they should be under the sole dominion of divinity.
Whoa, that's harsh.
The Anemo Archon is the god of freedom, and the Geo Archon is the god of contracts. For her part, the Raiden Shogun is the god of eternity. It seems as though she has finally decided to eliminate any unstable elements that could pose a threat to her eternal realm. The fact that even I, the oldest of the seven, have now passed away, will only strengthen her resolve to pursue eternity. Knowing her, she must have again quoted that adage she is most fond of when proclaiming that decree to her people. 7 ideals for 7 gods, and of these, eternity is nearest unto heaven. All right then. Was there anything else you wished to know? Ah, that was a good one. Failing a divine trial. How they came up with that excuse, I will never know. That said, the reason why the Qixing were so eager to resolve the incident and stop pursuing the culprit was indeed because they received news in secret that Rex Lapis was not dead. I hinted as much to the Adepti as well. How did I accomplish that, you ask? Have you ever heard of this particularly convenient Adepti art known as gifting dreams and visions? All right then. Was there anything else you wish to know?
Yeah, about that. Before the Qixing made their announcement, we listened to a lot of people talking on the way. Most of them put the blame for everything on Child.
These are indeed false accusations. But it remains undeniably true that Child did send people to the Jade Chamber to prevent the Adepti and the Qixing from defeating the ancient god. I've heard that Ningguang is busy milking that for all it's worth on the foreign relations front at the moment, browbeating the envoys of the Fatui. Ha! Those poor Snezhnayan diplomats. If it were not for Child's exalted position as a harbinger, I'm certain that they would have shifted all the blame to him and called for his dismissal by now. All right then. Was there anything else you wish to know? The time of the Adepti has long passed. If even the Liyue Qixing don't want to face that truth, then what future is there for Liyue? Kuching is absolutely right in saying this. Now, though I did laud Ningguang's desire for power, believing this to be a good thing, and thought as a matter of course that she must have been behind the Qixing's plan to take governing power over Liyue from the hands of the gods and Adepti. Could the original person who brought up the idea of seizing power have been... All right then. Was there anything else you wish to know?
That's right! Zhongli, now that you don't have your gnosis, what's going to happen to all the Mora in Teyvat? Since Morax is dead, are they all just gonna disappear? Also, isn't the Golden House the only mint in the entire continent? Will it even continue to work?
The Mora present now will not vanish. But the Golden House will indeed have to cease operations for a lengthy period of time, since creating Mora requires the use of the Geo Archon's power.
This is terrible! We're all about to run out of Mora! The world is coming to an end!
Yes, this is indeed a major issue from a financial standpoint. Well, I suppose we'll just leave such troublesome matters to the Liyue Qixing to debate.
Wow.
Then, did you at least set some private funds aside for yourself?
Oh, a private fund. This does seem like a good, logical, common-sense idea. It's a shame.
What's a shame?
It's a shame that I didn't think of it at the time. All right then. Was there anything else you wish to know? Well then, I suppose you'll have to find a way to get inside this closed nation. Have patience. I suspect that some serendipity must first come into play.
Hã? O desfiado para um buscador. Ai, tanta coisa. Ai, vamos lá ver aqui, ó. Missões. Aqui consigo umas coisas. Aqui já tenho. Não, pera. Missões do mundo. Ok, então primeiro fazer a missão do mundo para poder fazer a missão normal. Ok, mas primeiro fazer isto do jato.
Ah, children, come, come. You've arrived at just the right moment. I've been looking for you.
Oh, what is it, Granny? Need any help?
Oh, no. You've done so much for Liyue Harbor already. I could hardly ask for more. In fact, my old friends and I have been putting our heads together to think of what sort of gift we might give you in return.
A gift? For Paimon?
Oh, child, you are so very modest. Uncommonly so, even. But you mustn't decline this gift. I simply won't allow it. When you traversed my old teapot in search of the cleansing bell, I heard your little friend mention that you often camp out in the wilds. That simply won't do. Especially since I imagine you still have a very long journey ahead of you.
Eu fico a noite toda acordada, ainda pior, eu nem durmo. Não dá pra dormir.
Fortunately, I have not yet grown so old as to see my subspace creation abilities atrophy. Oh, did my friends never mention that to you? Well then, it is a blessing I will not go into too much detail, but subspace, the teapot that you entered previously, was a little trinket created.
So, in the eyes of an adeptus, creating a magic teapot world is just child's play, huh?
Oh, indeed, the teapot is nothing to boast of. One such as myself must depart from this realm to create a world of one's own. Rex Lapis, on the other hand, moved mountains and seas. That is what one might call an exercise of true power. But that's enough nostalgia for now. The gift that I have prepared for you just requires a few final materials to add the finishing touch.
That's right! Finding stuff's what we're good at, after all.
Oh, settle down now, children. There's no need for you to go running hither and thither. I have already found a fleet-footed youngster to prepare what I need. What's more, I doubt that you would know how to find the materials I am searching for. So, well, for starters, I require some shimmer soil from the banks of Dihua Marsh. Back in the day, it could only be found where the glazed lilies thrived most profusely. You would have to dig downward, following the roots of the glazed lilies, and if you were lucky enough, you just might find a small patch of shimmer soil there. But almost no one has been able to find shimmer soil in this manner since Dihua Marsh came to be the way it is. Even more difficult to find is Smaragdus jadeite, which must be chiseled from the rock of the chasm. Or so it used to be. In any case, Smaragdus jadeite is an adepti treasure, and the adeptal power within is not something that most humans can withstand. Goodness knows if that child will succeed in finding these.
Well, since you're an adeptus, Granny, the person you asked for help, they must be an adeptus too, right?
Não, é a Titi, só pode ser porque ela foi salva.
yes. I suppose she does count as an Adeptus.
Não, é Titi, ela é uma zombie.
How come there are so many Adepti in Liyue Harbor? We seem to bump into them all the time. It feels like even when you go out to eat, you could be sitting next to an Adeptus and never even know it.
Oh, maybe so. Who can say? A fair few of my old friends are rather fond of mundane mortal life, after all.
I'm back, Granny.
No,
I don't believe we've met.
Ah, allow me to do the honors. This child here is Yanfei. She's the one helping run some errands for me. Yanfei, I believe you already heard of the Traveler and his traveling companion.
Of course, who hasn't? Much has been written about you in the Millilith's records. You became one of Liyue's most wanted after the Millilith marked you as a suspect following the incident at the Rite of Dissension. After which, you fought off the Millilith at Julian Karst and made contact with the Fatui. Before finally defeating an ancient god together with Granny and her associates, and subsequently being cleared of any and all suspicion by the Qixing. What a shame. A shame that we didn't meet sooner. If we had, well, I can't say that I would have been able to clear you of suspicion immediately, but it certainly would have been less, embarrassing for you. Allow me to introduce myself once more. I'm Yanfei, a legal advisor. Got a legal problem? You can come right to me. Oh, yes, here's my business card. You'll find it has my contact details and office address. Keep it handy. If you have an urgent issue, just leave me a note at this address. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, I offer a very generous discount for first-time customers.
All right, Yanfei, all right. Let's get to the business at hand. I do not think these two are in any dire need of legal assistance at the moment. You'll have to excuse Yanfei. She's always been like this.
Paimon was gonna ask the same question. You seem really different from the ones we've met before.
Você parece muito igual, Paimon.
An Adeptus? I guess. Kinda. My old man said he was one anyway. He mentioned that he once campaigned with Rex Lapis for a long old time, and then after that was all over, he went back and married my mom. They had me, and once I was all grown up, the two of them upped and left on a journey, leaving me with Granny here.
Well, that's a bit casual for an Adeptus. Aren't you guys supposed to sign solemn contracts to...
Well, my dad did say that he'd talked it through with Rex Lapis. Anyway, let's not dwell on that too much. So, Granny, the chasm's been sealed off, and there's just no way in. Couldn't secure any documentation either. Looks like
Is that so? Yanfei, are you sure you can't find some other way? They have helped...
I know, Granny, you've told me 1,000 times already. Well, the chasm's Hold...
Whoa, that's a...
Commercial consultancy. Or... Krusel. A Snezhnayan merchant who... He mentioned that he was considering acquiring some Smaragdus... So, I guess I'll go look for him. With any luck... Oh, you want to join me?
Wow, an Adeptus imploring us to avoid... Best we be a little more careful than...
Hello, Mr. Krusel. How's business been?
Oh, good, very good. All thanks to your advice, Miss Yanfei.
You're too kind. I was simply doing my job. Now, I believe that the last time we met, you mentioned that you were...
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, in the end I did acquire a small piece of... Miss Yanfei, might I presume that you have an interest in the hairpins? I must apologize, I've already rented them out to a lady named Xiao. If you'd like...
Wait, isn't Smaragdus jadeite really rare? Aren't you worried about the hairpins getting damaged or lost while they're being rented out?
No, I'm not worried in the slightest, because I signed a contract with Miss Xiao before renting them to her. The contract makes it quite clear that if she loses or damages the item in return, I included a clause that guarantees the Smaragdus jadeite is genuine, with a penalty of 10 times the item's...
Guaranteed genuine? With 10 times the value payable if this claim is shown to be false?
Of course. This way, both the client and I have the assurance we...
In that case, might you know where Miss Xiao lives? We'd like to pay her a...
Oh, of course. She wrote her ad...
Thanks a lot, Mr. Krusel.
Ops, ela mora aqui perto, não mora.
Oh, whatever shall I do?
Ela perdeu.
Yes, that's me.
How do you do, Monsieur Chow? We understand from Mr. Crossel. My associates and I are very
The hairpins. I can't lend them to you right now. I don't know how it could have happened. I always kept them right by. I spent so much money on them. If I have to pay their original value, there's no way I could come up with that amount of money. My family is in the ore business too, but business has been suffering ever since the chasm was sealed off. We now have a backlog of paid-up orders just sitting around, so we've been having to purchase some stock from other ore merchants to complete them. A big banquet is coming up in a few days, and several ore merchants I know of will be there. I need this opportunity to mingle and discuss prices. That's what the hairpins were for, to keep up appearances. I can't have them looking down on me. But now that I've lost the hairpins, what will I do?
Why does Paimon have a sudden strong sense of déjà vu?
Would you really? I sent a commission to the Adventurers Guild, but I haven't heard anything back from them yet.
Hold on. Don't run off looking for the hairpins just yet. Monsieur Chow, would you let me have a look at the rental contract you signed?
Huh? Well, I mean, sure, I have it right here. Here you are.
Let me see.
That's right! Yanfei said she's a legal advisor, didn't she? Maybe she can help Juqiao somehow.
Aqui não está a dizer de perdido, só se roubado ou danificado.
True. Though surely there must be a win-win solution.
Right. I finished reading the contract. The terms are very clear, and they do indeed stipulate that you must pay Mr. Crossel the original value of the hairpins as compensation for the loss. Furthermore, the contract also expressly states that the amount of compensation must take current market prices into account. And given the rarity of Smaragdus Jadeite, I fear that the final amount of compensation may end up being significantly higher as a result.
Even higher? Oh no.
Uh-oh. Juqiao looks like she's about to faint.
However, all of this is assuming that it is indeed genuine Smaragdus Jadeite that was inlaid into the hairpins.
Did you really have to pause before saying that part? Anyway, the hairpins are lost, so how exactly would we be able to find out if the jadeite is genuine or not? Whichever way you look at it, we've got to start by finding those hairpins.
Except that if we found the hairpins, there'd no longer be any need to check whether the jadeite is genuine, would there?
Seems right.
Please. Please, don't trouble yourselves over this. The fact is, however much it is, I will have to pay it. My family are merchants, after all. It's vital that, now that it's come to this, I really shouldn't...
Yes, legally speaking, it seems this is the most... So hold on a moment, Monsieur Chow. When you first touched the hairpins...
What did I feel? Well, I remember that the gemstones set into the pins were... My family has seen much jade pass through its hands in the past, so I am quite certain of my judgment in...
Smooth to the touch. No, it's nothing. I just need to
Cristal era falso.
Ah, Miss Yanfei, you've returned. With Miss Juqiao in tow, too, I see. How are the hairpins? You lost them? Are you serious? Do you have any idea how expensive they were?
I'm sorry. Truly I am. I'll pay the
Mora! Do you have any idea what I had to go through to get my hands on that Smaragdus Jadeite? I just don't... Forget it. Talking won't bring them back. Since Miss Yan...
No problem. But before I can give an official estimate, I'll need to do a little market research. Ah, yes. And if I may just confirm again, it was in fact genuine Smaragdus Jadeite inlaid into the hairpins, correct?
Of course. Genuine article guaranteed, or I pay back 10 times the value.
All right, understood. I'll conduct some market research, and once I'm back, I'll provide an official assessment of the sum owed by Mr. Chow in compensation.
Thank you very much. How could she lose my hairpins?
Looks like I'll have to find some way to raise that money.
Please wait, Mr. Chow. I have something to discuss with you.
Eu acho que já sei. Aquilo era falso. E ele foi lá e roubou ela.
It's not convenient to speak here, so let's find somewhere that we can sit and talk in more detail.
Miss Yunfei, what is this about? Are you...
No. What I wanted to talk about is, there is a chance that the Orin laid on those hairpins.
What do you mean? Are you implying that you already sneaked up?
Obviously not. I'm no adventurer, let alone a member of the guild. I don't know if Granny told you this, but Smaragdus jadeite is found deep underground. If mere mortals come into contact with it, well, they'll be sick in the best case. And in the worst case, they... Mr. Chow, did you at any time...
No, not at all. I felt...
Now that is strange. I noticed earlier, if I've deduced correctly, he may still...
If that's the case, we should go confront him.
Absolutely not. If we were to confront him now, there's no way. And then he'd throw the Smaragdus jadeite into this. After that, he would simply insist that Mr. Chow pay up per the contract. He would lose nothing. Meanwhile, we would have to look under every stone in Liyue, hoping and praying that the hairpins do actually still exist somewhere in this world.
So vivid that Paimon thinks it might...
Oh, it certainly is. I've seen my fair share of situations.
Well then, since...
Oh, that won't be a problem. But first...
Huh? Does there have to be a contract for everything? It feels like Yanfei is even more...
These are my formal terms of engagement. Everything prior to now has just been pro bono advice. But for me to investigate any further, any work commissioned but not bound by a contract cannot...
I understand. Then?
No problem. Just sign here, and I'll sign too. And I'll also need your signatures on pages 5, 7, and on the very last.
This contract has so many pages.
All right, that should do it. My fees are the same as always, and they're written in the contract. Have a look through and let me know if you have any questions.
I've had a read through. Everything checks out.
Well then, here's your copy of the contract. I will retain the other copy. Not for now, no. Despite how I don't believe you have been part of an investigation like this.
Miss Yunfei, I have to ask.
Because, as it happens, I'm currently trying to acquire some Smaragdus jade. Whether he actually made it into an item of jewelry or not is a separate matter. But either... Also, the idea of someone abusing the... But again, let's not dwell on this. I've got it. Let's pay a visit. If Mr. Crossell had his ore worked on at all, Chateau would undoubtedly...
Why, hello there, honored surely not more spurious claims that...
No, nothing of the sort. Has a Snezhnine merchant named Crossell enlisted your ore processing services recently by any chance?
A Snezhnine... I do remember that. That was the first time I'd ever encountered it, so I had no way of telling if it was really Smaragdus. He was quite generous with his money, too, so I didn't give it too much thought. I processed the... Why, yes. It was my first time encountering this ore, after all, so I kept a...
Thank you, sir. We'll take a look at...
Well, estou aqui.
Adventurer, you can last a round against me.
Huh? If my eyes don't deceive me, the cross-sections and patterning suggest that these are Smaragdus nephrite shavings. Yes. It's not particularly rare, nor is it especially valuable. It's used to make jewelry all the time. I've heard it said that Smaragdus nephrite is in fact the outer layer of Smaragdus jadeite, though no one's ever proven it.
A thin layer of separation, huh?
If you must see for yourself, try examining these shavings for traces of elemental energy. Smaragdus nephrite?
Is that so? So, did you find anything? So they really are different. But wait, how come Jichao is...
There's nothing special to it. It just so happens that I've come across a great many of these. These two stones actually look very similar. Someone with there may be only a subtle difference for the casual viewer, but that translates to and I'm sure a significant difference in the cost of having.
All right, let's focus up.
But never mind, Shirto. Why would Miss...
Unusual actions have unusual reasons behind them. Let...
Miss Yenfei?
If you could just confirm for me once more, sir. Mr. Crossell did indeed claim that the...
Yes, that's right. I still have a...
Then I have no further questions.
Of course.
Oh, I have my reasons. This document shall serve as signed proof that these stone shavings originated from the...
Yes, I see.
I wouldn't say there's been an incident. Just a minor issue.
With this hard evidence to back...
On the contrary, this is if you want to make jewelry, you need a professional jewelsmith. Let me think. Jewelry. Aha! Got it! Sinxie. She often helps people to find a jewelsmith.
Well, that was quick.
Because lots of people come to me for legal advice. As you know, Liyue Harbor is the city of... But the amendments made by... As such,
So you help...
Yes, well, you sound surprised. Oh, this has nothing to do with being...
Again, with that cat?
Well, that's that then.
Oh, Miss Yenfei.
Have no further...
Has a merchant... Crossell. The design of this order was on hold for a very long time.
Doesn't seem like...
Miss Sinxie.
Yes, Mr. Crossell. I also kept a copy for my own records. The inlaid gem...
Thank you, Sinxie. Now, could you let...
Sure, it is...
Nothing you need to worry about. Just a minor issue.
Why is everyone's first reaction always to his...
I believe we have almost...
The weirdo?
Because once we have the...
My, to what do I owe the pleasure? Though I'm afraid that if you're looking for our little Chi-Chi, she's out gathering herbs. And if it isn't Miss Yenfei as well, now that's an even rarer honor. What?
No, I'm...
Smaragdus jadeite? Why, yes, there is some information about it included in the 6th. The 7 Mountain Treatises states that this substance springs forth from It is abundant in elemental energy, so if someone without a vision is in contact with it for a prolonged period, best case scenario, they fall... Anyway, I'm sure you didn't come all this way just to chit-chat. Knowing you, I suppose that you're about to ask me to write an official affidavit.
That is indeed the case. If you would...
No trouble at all. It's just a single document. Won't take me a moment. I would mention, though, that you are not but, after I gave him my reply, I wonder, Miss Yenfei, if you're...
you needn't concern yourself about that, Dr. Baizhu.
You're too kind.
Miss Yenfei, have you finished your investigation? Yes, our investigation is indeed complete. Wonderful. Well then, please, could you do the... Of course. According to the stipulations of the contract, Mr. Crossell, you must pay Mr. Chow... Sure, wait, what? Me pay her? Not at all. According to my investigations and the material evidence that we gathered, the substance claimed to be Smaragdus jadeite. Now, the contract states very clearly that 10 times the price shall be paid. Material evidence? What material evidence? I expected you some to obtain that Smaragdus jadeite. And indeed, only a testimony from an expert witness involved in the processing of the ore can serve as an authoritative assessment of whether it is genuine.
If we want to determine whether the ore is genuine, we need to start with evidence from the Jade Mystery. Clearly, you still have a few things to learn about. This is a processing record from the Jade Mystery, along with stone samples and an affidavit signed by the business owner.
Seriously? Even the boss there couldn't differentiate between Smaragdus... In any case, Smaragdus nephrite is the outer layer of Smaragdus jadeite. So I had him cut away the nephrite. He returned the valuable jadeite core to me.
That's an unsubstantiated belief.
Well, your claim that my ore is fake is just as unsubstantiated. And we...
Ugh. Looks like our first piece of evidence didn't convince him at all. Seems like...
Hard evidence. Something legally binding. We have just the thing. Show him, Traveler.
This document proves that my hairpins are the real deal, doesn't it? This is the Ministry's seal, after all. It shows that the ore...
Our second piece of evidence didn't work either.
You know, you could be right. Perhaps the hairpins are...
Of course I'm right. All the evidence...
Well, hang on a moment now, because I do recall... Traveler, would you do the honors? This shall serve as decisive proof of our case.
Vamos precisar da primeira.
What's this? I have no idea. What? Wait! I knew. Oh, so you knew? Oh, dear Mr. Castle. Huh? No, I was actually enraged with genuine surrender state. You do understand, Mr. Castle, that this means that you will have to pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original. Mr. Castle, your answer, please. My client and I are waiting. I admit it. I confess. You're right, but I'm a bit in all of this too. I invested a great deal of time and money into acquiring that small amount of Sparagus jadeite. After receiving it and carrying it around for a few days, I started to feel I went to the blue pharmacy to get myself checked out, only to discover that this sort of stone cannot be worn as jewelry. But how could I let all that money go to waste? That's why I had another pair of hairpins made from Sparagus nephrite. I kept the real Sparagus jadeite and especially mint. I was worried that someone would see through it, which is what... I didn't want to either, but when I purchased that Sparagus jadeite, some of my business partners found out. If word got out that I sold a pair of fake hairpins, then my days in this... Alright, let's put your face right there. I failed to see what any of this has on your transaction. 10 tons. Ms. Jichao. However, Mr. Castle, since you have no use for that chunk of Sparagus jadeite, why don't you give it to... What? But Miss Yunfei, I'll turn the Sparagus jadeite over to you. Well, that's not quite how the rules say, but thanks so much for your help this time, Miss Yunfei. When you have the time, I'll come on. Well, that's good, Mr. Castle. It seems that my client... Is actually, I could see from the hairpins you produce that you're very skilled in jewelry design. My friend, if we could join forces, you're... Oh, that's that. And we've got the Sparagus jadeite. Exactly. The right solution, the objective of my client, Mr. Kinnick, Lua Harbor is now city rules like the title of the captain of any case. Don't you think that the Lua... You've returned. Good. If we're all set, I'll be going now. Oh, you. Traveler, make sure you don't lose the business card I gave you. We've been looking into the laws of other nations as well. If you come now, child, are you leaving or are you not? I'm leaving! That child. Goodness knows where she learned to be so rambunctious. Indeed she is. Yunfei might be over the girl. All right then. It is but a sing. There we go. This hold it firmly. If you were to drop it, goodness, who knows what might happen. Take these blueprints with you as well. You'll need them. Oh, you needn't worry about that.
Oh! Então nós bloqueamos uma área mágica super secreta. Então eu vou explorar um pouco. Por isso o vídeo vai ficando por aqui. Espero que tenham gostado e tchau!